Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today I actually wanted to make a little video on why ghosting is not the same thing as a twin flame separation. There's a lot of individuals out there that, come across certain individuals that they feel very connected to and, come across information about the twin flame connection and actually end up confusing the individual that they've met for their twin flame. So this video is kind of dedicated to helping you understand how if you've been ghosted by an individual that you're trying to date or you've come across, that is not the same thing as a twin flame connection and twin flame separation. So this video is going to help you identify 5 clear signs that can actually help you identify if or whether or not you are dealing with a twin flame. And if it's not, then it will help you kind of move along and possibly find a different partner for yourself so that you're not wasting your time and attention and energy on an individual that's not really meant for you. So this video is hopefully going to help clarify that for you. Now let's actually talk about what ghosting really is. This is an ego-based behavior that you may see with someone that you are actually dating. Let's say you come across somebody that you've only just met, talk to them a little while, it feels like things are going great, and then all of a sudden they stop responding to your calls and texts. And so really this could be happening because this individual is emotionally unavailable, they are immature, unable to really explore the depths of their emotion, or simply they don't like to go too deep into relationships. And the preview that you've gotten of them is really all anybody ever really gets. Now, if this has happened to you, it is easy for you to confuse this with the bubble love phase leading into separation. However, you're going to need to look for some other signs to really clearly tell you if this is or is not your twin flame. Now, a twin flame bubble love phase is a little different leading into a twin flame separation. Now, a twin flame connection starts off with 2 individuals for at least a couple of weeks, typically around 6 to 8 weeks, feeling like they're amazingly connected. It almost feels like you are talking to another you, and you connect so deep on so many different levels. And really, what the foundation of this particular relationship or connection really is that you have a deep soul contract with each other. And, this love phase that you go through with this individual is really meant to lead you on your own spiritual journey, your own healing journey, and a self-transformation journey. So that is really the purpose of what this connection is. It's well beyond, that little love thing that you feel like for other individuals. It's unlike anything that you've experienced in your other relationships. So just having that little love connection, that in somebody that you've just met, this is not the purpose of a twin flame connection. However, you can see based on the descriptions of the 2 that I've described here, it's very easy to really confuse these 2. So how do you really tell these apart? Well, when twin flames actually, step into their separation with each other, the twin flame will never actually hurt their divine counterpart. It's really meant to be a journey and a phase where they are actually self-reflecting, understanding their own deep wounds, and really going into that phase so that they can come out of that ultimately to unite with the twin. And so the separation is really leading both the twins on a journey of self-discovery, self-healing, so that they can eventually come together. What's important to understand here, though, is that this can take months and years in order for the 2 twins to really get through. And it all starts with the individuals going, especially the chaser, which is usually the feminine energy in the connection, really going within so that the other twin can also start that healing work for themselves. Now, from anything that I've explained so far, if you've been able to see any sort of a difference, great. But if not, don't worry. The next 5 signs that I'm about to talk about should really help you decipher whether or not the person you are dealing with, who seems to be ghosting you, is your twin flame or not. And the first sign that you are actually dealing with a twin flame is a Kundalini activation. Now, while I say that, I do have to preface this by saying that not all twin flames actually experience a Kundalini activation right away. In fact, they might be seeing their twin for a little while before a Kundalini activation happens. So this will vary. However, majority of twins actually experience a Kundalini activation upon either meeting their individual or coming across them in some way, whether it's online, through video chatting, whatever that may be, even astral travel. So that is one of the signs that you can look out for. Now, I will say that most of these signs that I'm about to share with you are going to vary for each individual, and therefore you have to really take a look at them in combination with some of the other things that I mentioned. Nothing is going to be absolutely concrete because they will vary based on each connection. Now, the second sign is that you can actually, after this activation with your twin, you can actually feel their energy all around you. You know, their essence is literally attached to you wherever you go. And so it's not just somebody that's far away that you have a whole lot of love for during the separation, but actually somebody that almost stays with you energetically. So if you are experiencing that where you can feel their emotions, you are getting a lot of sexual energy being sent your way through them by this energy and energetic field around you that you feel, that is another sign that you are dealing with your twin flame. Third sign is that twin flames actually experience a lot of shared dreams with each other. And really by shared, I'm not saying they have the exact same dream experience at the same time, but what rather is that they both have a lot of dreams about each other, leading closer to when they're about to meet, just shortly after they meet, and various different times throughout their journey. So if you start to have a lot of dreams about this individual that you've come across, then that's another sign that you are potentially experiencing, or you have met your twin flame. Sign number 4 to identify if the person you're dealing with is your twin flame is simply to see, and this can only be possible if you've had deep enough conversations with the individual that you believe is your twin flame. And, in those conversations, you'd be able to discover that actually your lives are very much a mirror to each other. And by that, I mean that there are a lot of similarities on both sides of your lives, such as you possibly, grew up in the same town, but didn't really meet each other. You have a lot of friends or connections that, there's mutual friendships between each other, but you never really came across each other all these years. You possibly worked together on the same street and never ran into each other. Your parents and your twins' parents share the same anniversary date. There's possibly, siblings that have the same birthday. So if you look at, your lives in comparison to each other, you will find a couple of similarities that are almost identical to each other. So that's another sign. And again, this is only possible if this individual you've met that's ghosted you has really shared some of these deeper details with you and you've made this discovery. Sign number 5 about, this individual that you met that you can run a test on is that the individual that you've met, do they remind you of your own self? You can't really pin to what it might be. Maybe it's the hobbies, maybe it's the interests, maybe it's the demeanor, maybe it's your aura, the energy. But there is something about their vibration that just simply reminds you of your own self. That is a sure and telltale sign that the individual that you are dealing with could potentially be your twin flame. I really hope the 5 signs that I've shared really help you to identify if the individual that's ghosting you is or isn't your twin flame, and if what you're really experiencing is twin flame separation. And so please, take a look at the signs that I've shared in combination with each other rather than, taking a look at 1 or 2 in isolation and really using that to determine what sort of a connection you're dealing with. If this individual that has ghosted you is, mean to you, abusive to you in any ways, taking from you and not giving back in any way, you really want to reconsider what you're going through so that you are not experiencing heartache with an individual that's really not meant for you. So I really hope this video helps you to understand what and who you're dealing with so that you can make the best decision for you and find the right partner. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this was helpful. God bless.